Hello, everyone. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. I cannot believe we are almost at the end of November, coming into December, almost at the end of 2026. Guys, insane. Time is just moving so quickly, isn't it? And I feel like we are ending the year in the most incredible way. We have just been so fed, been given so much, and we still have the With Love Meghan holiday special before we end the year, and something else coming from As Ever. So there's still so much to look forward to before we round off to the end of 2025, and I'm sure there's so many amazing things that we have to look forward to for 2026. I think that it's going to be full speed ahead for Harry and Meghan in 2026. I think they've taken their time, as Meghan said in one of her recent interviews, to rest and make space for healing and set the foundations of what's to come. And 2026, full speed ahead. That's what I feel. And I thank you all so much for joining me today. Also, Harry's got some appearances on December 1st. And the doco coming on 9th. That's the kids, the Masaka kids one, right? Sorry, sometimes there's so much going on that even I lose track of what's coming, and it's like my mind is mostly just focused like on the primary things. But yeah, if I ever forget anything, make sure to put it in the comment section so that other people pick up on whatever I sometimes forget. All right, I'm also going to do call-ins today. I think Lightside wanted to come up as well. She's around today, so she will be up. But yeah, Gak, I can't believe. Oh, I feel like I haven't seen you for a while either. Welcome back. Yeah, I can't believe we're heading into 2026 either. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first things first. Let's get my slides up. Okay, so for those of you who want to order the wine, there was free shipping for a few days. I don't know if that's still going on, but just double check. There was an offer from As Ever for free shipping for the wine. Also, if you're buying the wine, there's also now the wooden gift crate trio, and it comes in a wooden crate, which is so beautiful. I actually think that they need to they can just sell the crate. They can just sell the crate. The crate is so beautiful. So you get all three bottles: the rosé, the white wine, and also the champagne, the sparkly. That is a brilliant gift set, and I think if I'm not mistaken, that little black thing on top of the box, like that's some kind of like key or something. Perfect for gifting. If you know that someone you know does actually drink alcohol. Very classy, very demure, very mindful. Next thing. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to get into this first. What else I want to get into a couple of other things first before we get into that crazy. New picture of Meghan and the new creative director of Balenciaga from the Paris show. Just the lovely behind the scenes picture there. What a lovely moment that was. Without a doubt, my most favorite moment, not only because Meghan absolutely slayed, left no crumbs, as the Queens would say, but because it was just so unexpected. They kept it private, and that's how you move. You move in silence until you're ready. and then you just drop the bomb. And did that bomb not land with a bang? Also, this right here, the lady on the screen, this is the director, director, lead editor of Harper's Bazaar, the editor-in-chief, sorry, Samir Anasa. She is half Lebanese, half Trini. She is the first woman of color to hold this position. And knowing this now, it doesn't actually surprise me that the Harper's Bazaar editorial came out as brilliant as it did, simply because it is probably the first interview and editorial that I think I've read with Meghan that didn't have any snark in it. No unnecessary snark, no side-eyeness, no there was just nothing just underhanded, backhanded about it. It was just reporting mostly on what we know, those of us who have been in the squad for a while. They had a couple of her friends speak. They had Meghan say, give some antidotes as well. The pictures were lovely. It was just all put together. It just felt warm. So it doesn't surprise me that the editor is someone who probably sees herself in Meghan. Because I've just felt like so many of the other interviews that Meghan has done, there's just always just something backhanded about it every single time. It's like they want to find something negative. And it's like they always go out of their way to try and find something. And I just didn't get the sense of that here. There's actually a video of Meghan and Samir. Samir was on set that day. So shout out to her. And I actually went to the Harper's Bazaar page. They have been posting so much about Meghan. I think they've done about 8 posts just from this one shoot. Like they are like, we need to get all the traffic we can. But also, I have seen that Harper's Bazaar are really making a lot of effort now, and I think having this editor-in-chief to highlight different creatives, a diverse group of creatives. And so I think, at least for now, while we have this editor-in-chief, I kind of stopped reading high fashion mags because I felt like I couldn't really see myself in any of them. But I think I will be giving Harper's Bazaar a lot more attention now, the US branch of it. I think also actually some of the other Harper's Bazaar, the Vietnam Harper's Bazaar just actually had Alandria on their cover. Not a Love Island fan, but I am a Alandria stan. I'm an Alandria stan now. Having a dark-skinned Black woman on the cover of a Vietnamese, magazine, and just seeing her rise above, getting a lot of the treatment that Meghan got. So yeah, like Harper's Bazaar, I'm going to be looking at you a little bit more now going forward. Heather, how revolutionary to have a fashion magazine feature a no makeup cover. Yeah, I actually did a video on this, and I did a short on this, and the way in which some of these tabloid writers came for Meghan, it's this whole thing of, I can't see myself in her, so she makes me feel bad, which is insane. Like when I think I said this in a previous podcast, when you see someone who's high achieving, who's great at everything they do, that should be an inspiration for you. But Meghan just triggers envy in a lot of these people. Not only does she trigger envy, actually, Meghan straight up triggers psychosis. Meghan triggers psychosis in these people. So much so that they get on planes and go across a whole ocean to go and look at her jam in a store. I don't know what more I can say about this that I didn't say in my TikTok rant. But this is crazy. And what I didn't know, and I have to verify this, but it wouldn't surprise me, that this is the third time Jan Moi has gone to Montecito. I don't believe that this woman or anybody from the Daily Fail or anybody from these tabloids are just taking a little holiday, a little weekend all the way to California to go and get Meghan's jam. They are very much hoping that they bump into her or somebody she knows. That's why they're going there. You are not going to tell me that you flew. How many hour flight is it from London to California? Let me check. London to California flight. London to California flight time. What are we looking at? What are we looking at to go look at Meghan's jam? At least 11 hours. 11 hours to go look at jam that you could have, like everybody else who's normal, just ordered a forward shipping service to get the damn jam. Or you know what else you could have done? You could have gone down to Highgrove and got Charles's jam. Because these people behave as if the United Kingdom doesn't still have a whole king and his heirs and consorts. They won't even go down to Highgrove or Windsor to get their king's jam. They didn't even pay attention to their king's jam before Meghan released hers. But somebody from the Daily Fail will get on an 11-hour flight. An 11-hour flight. You won't even get on the bus to go down the road to drop a can of beans at a food bank or at a homeless shelter. You know, help Prince William with his so-called Let's End Homeless initiatives. Won't even go down the food bank to drop a can of beans, but you will get on an 11-hour flight to go to California. Folks, I'm sorry. I might have to say it 100 times to myself just to really let it sink in. That somebody from the Daily Fail got an 11-hour flight to go look at Meghan's jam. A level of crazy that I don't think I've ever seen. Especially being that I don't think this is the first time. I mean, at one point, they were even trying to find out where Meghan's factory is. The factory and the manufacturer where they bottled the jam. What do you think you're going to find there? What do you think you're going to find at a food factory? Beyond crazy. Beyond crazy. Lady, I'm not on TikTok. I said it now. I said it now. I said it now 10 times just to help me, you, and everybody else who's normal process this crazy. I mean, at the very least, I hope she got some California sun, but a squaddy told me that it's raining over there. At the very least, she escaped the UK winter for a few days. I mean, and how much would that have costed to send her over there? And it's not like it's cheap to stay in the Montecito area. Yeah, this is exactly it. They're hoping that they're going to bump into them, into Meghan, Harry, Archie, and Lily. Or they're hoping that they're going to find their friends and find some dirt or find something. It wouldn't surprise me at all if not only did she go to this place, if she probably frequented some of the other places that Meghan is known for going. It wouldn't surprise me if she dropped by Hippie Highbrow. I don't think Megan said the name of I think it was the yoga or Pilates place that she goes to, but I mean, how many yoga or Pilates, especially the most popular places, could there be in one area? It wouldn't surprise me if we know at least a couple of the restaurants that Megan likes to go to. Wouldn't surprise me if they went there. I hope hippie highbrow and some of these places, I hope they have a list and faces of all of these people. Because if somebody like Jan Ma was to walk into a place like hippie highbrow, she shouldn't be allowed in. They shouldn't give her service. Because Jan Ma will go and announce herself. I'm so sure that they've probably sent undercover reporters, people less suspicious and less known, down to the Montecito area to start sniffing around. I think Harry had mentioned that he went to like some hot dog place or something, and they sent a reporter there, somebody who lives in LA. And then on top of all of this crazy, they put this on the front cover of the Daily Fail. Now, I'm clocked out of UK politics ever since I got on a plane and came to the tropics. But I'm pretty sure, given what I left, there's more important things going on than Meghan's pop-up shop in Montecito. And then the Daily Fail put that on the front cover. The same paper, mind you, that will tell you that they're pushing back against mainstream narratives and they're for the people. It is actually quite mind-blowing to see an article about Meghan's jam underneath a headline about Ukraine and Trump on a national newspaper. And then if you look at the comment section of this Daily Fail article, and this was a screenshot that I took yesterday, it's probably double that now. There were over 300 comments on this. 300 comments on a Daily Fail reporter flying 11 hours to go look at jam. Because hating on Meghan in the UK isn't enough. We have to get up close and personal. The other question that I have about all of this is, say Jan Ma or one of these people was to actually bump into Meghan, and then what? What are you planning on saying? What are you planning on doing? What do you think that Meghan is going to say to you? Because the only thing that would happen in that situation is you would be escorted out of the premises, and they would get Meghan as far away from you as possible very, very quickly. What are they hoping will happen if they bump into Meghan or her friends? What are they thinking is going to happen? Kevon, thank you so much for the super chat. You said the Royal Rota knows nothing about Harry and Meghan. That's why they have to eat off the scraps of real reporters to write their stories. Indeed. And they don't deserve to be anywhere near Harry and Meghan. They don't deserve to be anywhere near their family or their friends. The picture of the children is what they're looking for. But the thing is, I think Harry and Meghan have done a very good job of making sure that the photographer, I mean, there's already laws about taking photos of children. Now, I think page 6, and there was another photo agency, they tried it, but Harry and Meghan pushed back, and I think one of those agencies actually went bankrupt or something. So I think they know better than to try and take at least clear shots of those kids. We've had a couple long lens shots of them on the beach. I didn't post them here because I don't want to encourage that. As far as I'm concerned, kids are off limits. But yeah, I think they're still very much hoping to get pictures of them kids. But just they're hoping to get anything, any amount of access, any details. Oh, and I also forgot, she flew 11 hours there, and she would also have to fly 11 hours back. So a whole 22 hours of flying to go look at jam. Meghan broke something in these people. Like, it can't just be the racism. I mean, that's part of it. How dare this woman of color who married our prince, how dare she be as seemingly perfect as she is, as good as at everything that she does as she is? And it's like they're constantly bashing their head on the wall trying to figure out how, instead of assessing their own biases and their own bigotry. They're driving themselves crazy to the point of flying 22 hours to go look at Jam. Exactly, Shirley. Why aren't they stalking Andrew and Fergie? Why aren't they stalking Andrew and Fergie? I mean, that story died as quickly as it was printed. It's like they made all this hoopla to try and make it look like some level of accountability was happening. And that story is pretty much dead now. Unless, of course, Fergie starts opening her mouth and yapping, and we're going to get onto that in a sec. Sorry, let me just drop the invite link in the chat. Lightside, if you want to come up, if you're somewhere in the clouds, or anybody else, there's the invite link if you want to. Lottie, she got these MFers spending out of control, spinning out of control. They are truly insane. Heather, it's weird that they cover Meghan so closely when there's an entire island of stories to write about. I do apologize that I don't have the clip. Perhaps I'll play it in tomorrow's podcast. But there was actually somebody on GB News, and he said it outrightly to the presenters' faces. You're just focused on Harry and Meghan because of the clicks. I'm pretty sure that they also listen to our podcast as well, so they're getting talking points from us. But it's the absolute truth. That's why they don't focus on the other royals. Because what are you getting other than seasonal videos a month too late that look like a shampoo commercial? You have a whole island of royals to report on, and you're reporting on the two across the Atlantic Ocean. You're getting on a plane across the Atlantic Ocean to see what the other two are doing. Yes, this also, don't forget there is a court case. I do also wonder if this is part of a wider intimidation tactic as well. And also in the lead up to the court case, as we always see and as we have seen over the last 6 years, please prepare for them to throw everything, including the palace kitchen sink. The palace kitchen sink and the unspiced chicken that they cook in them palace kitchens at the wall. Kitchen sinks are going to be thrown at the wall. Unspiced chicken is thrown at the wall. False allegations of bullying are going to be thrown at the wall. Everything's coming. Because the Daily Fail, they are most definitely scared. Rupert Murdoch and his hound dogs had to apologize and pay Harry out. You better know that Jonathan Rothermere is shaking in his boots. Sorry, folks, just give me 1 second. I have to just get up and switch something off. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so with the court case coming up, they're about to lose their minds again. Clark, if the Daily Fail tried to post those kids, Harry would own that paper, indeed. Yeah, this is why they keep saying that Meghan didn't have any kids. And all of these ridiculous rumors. Crazy people. I bet she bought enough for herself and the people she works with. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I didn't even read the whole article. I couldn't bring myself to read the whole article, so I don't even know um how much she bought or what she bought. I'm sure she took a whole bunch back home. Absolutely pathetic. Yeah, bottom feeders. Yeah, puzzle dot. Megan is in her country and state. People out there will whip her butt. Oh, light side's in the chat. Hi, light side. Do you want to chime in on this crazy? How are you?
Can you
Light
hear
side.
me? Can you
Oh
hear
yeah, I
me
can hear
now?
you. Mhm.
How are you doing and how is everyone doing today?
I'm doing good. Very happy in the
Good, good.
tropics. Nice and sunny here today.
Nice weather, warm weather. I'm sure you're getting acclimated pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. Feeling a lot better now, actually. Sleeping pattern
Hi.
is
Oh, it's a
better.
little thrown off still. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Hi everyone in the chat. I know it's been a minute. I caught up on most of your shorts, which I am loving. I because I don't have a lot of
Thank you.
time sometimes, but like I the last one that you posted about Jen Moore had me cackling. And I don't know if it was a combination of the tone, the facial expression, and just the utter like read of this woman for her taking a trip all the way to the US of A across the pond for what did you say? 11 hours one way, 22 hours
Yeah,
both ways, right?
both ways.
Mm-hmm. To complain about the price of
A
as ever
£24
items.
jam.
Yeah,
I spent £5,000 to complain about a $24 bottle of jam.
right. It's not adding up, right? There's like something really kind of just not. The math isn't mathing.
The math isn't mathing.
Math isn't mathing. Yeah. And I mean, just say you're broke, right? Just let us know that you just don't have the money to get the jam. Why complain about it? But we all know that's not the reason. They think it's too expensive for her to ask. They think the audacity of her to ask for so much for a product, right? Because they don't think she's deserving of having
Yeah,
any high priced or even reasonably priced items. Now, we're talking Megan making these products from highly, I would say, organic, very equitably
yeah,
sourced items,
yes,
very well
yes,
thought out. The quality of the materials and the containers that we're getting for the products are very thought out, right? So there's a lot that goes into this. And also, you're not looking at mass manufacturing. We're still kind of on a smaller scale for business that is expanding. When we get to shipping to the UK and to countries outside of the United States, aside from I don't know if they're shipping to Canada. I wouldn't be surprised if they are. But if you when you start thinking about all that stuff, then you're talking about mass production, right? On a much larger scale, mid to larger scale. She isn't
hmm
quite there yet. I think there's things still being worked out. So why complain about that? And at the
hmm
same time they're complaining because of just the sake of complaining. She probably has a suitcase of stuff that she's bringing back,
hmm
right? Because there's no way whoever sent her to come over to scrutinize the products are going to have her come back with nothing, empty handed. They're going to want to try it. And whether they like it or not, they're going to find a reason to talk about it. And we're going to hear about it later. So, yeah,
hmm
this whole thing is just really, it's the same thing from the playbook. It's just really embarrassing. And as you said earlier, it has to be more at this point. We've beaten it over the bush and we've broken it down so many times in this pod about the comparisons between her and Princess Diana and
mm,
how it seems like she's much more scrutinized and why could that be. And we did bring up the racial factor, but as you said, at this point it seems like it has to be more than that, right? There's something
yeah.
else that Yeah, it's like you said, there's something that's inertly broken inside these people. And man, bravo to Megan for breaking so much internally in all of these people. That's some mass
Mhm.
psychosis stuff going on. Like, let me know what kind
Indeed.
of ancestral magic you're pulling out to
Uh,
do that kind of thing.
exactly, exactly. I just think that it's there's so much that Megan brought into the picture that they were never expecting. They were never expecting to
Hmm.
lose control of the narrative. The royals were never expecting that they had to actually bring something to the table. Um, and it's just like there's never been anything or anyone to challenge them, and it's not like Megan came into the picture and wanted to challenge anything, but her very
Exactly.
presence became that. But just in general, I mean, it's been a while since you've been on, like,
Hmm.
how are you feeling about how everything's going, the rollout of As Ever? We've got the With Love Megan show coming. Yeah, just in general, like, what are your thoughts?
Look, I I'm so proud of her. I am happy to see how things are unfolding. I think considering that this is her first run um doing multi projects, right? You have
Yeah,
the interviews that we're seeing in the magazines, you have the products that are rolling out, and not just the same product. She's slowly building on them, right?
yeah,
And thinking about the products very attunely with the season. We see that, as you know, I've been asking for that darn jam since last year, and I regretted just getting that one. So I went
yeah,
crazy this time, but I'm realizing that she does seasonal stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can respect that. So she's very thoughtful in how she's delivering the products to her audience, and top quality, very aesthetically pleasing to look at. Um, that is all going very smoothly. It's well received. You're seeing her projects on Netflix. You know what I'm excited about? The piece that she's doing with the I don't know if it's can't I know I'm gonna get this wrong, but there is a series that's coming out on Africa with the kids, right?
oh
And I
yes,
can't remember
yes,
the yeah. I'm excited about that. And I've seen quality production from them. When we think about all these different things, what we see on our end is the end product of those things.
hmm,
We see the actual final result of the masterpiece. We don't see the iterations of what went into making that stuff. And I think sometimes as a whole, a lot of people forget how much work goes into crafting and mastering and fine tuning and making sure things are clean and presentable and in the right form, and it's not rubbing the audience the wrong way. All those things have to go into to fine tuning each thing that we're presented with, and it's a
yes,
lot of work. And it just reminds me of how much work has gone on behind the scenes to give us all. This has been a year of like constant delivery of things. And I remember like
yes,
several months ago, you yourself had, and I think some of the other squaddies were saying, what are we going to see? What's coming down the pipeline? Maybe when they get things finally ready, because I remember we were waiting for her As Ever. Before it was As Ever, it was something else. We were waiting for that rollout, and it
yeah,
seemed like it was getting delayed and delayed, and we're like, okay, what's going on? But
mm,
like to finally see fruition come to the front stage, it's been amazing to see that. And I I have been, and I've spoken to you offline a couple times, and we've had dialogues about certain things that we're seeing and how the typical audience is receiving and critiquing her. And I remember the first time, like when you shared the image of Harper's Bazaar, the photo shoot that she did.
mm,
And I saw the picture of her, and then I pulled it up online, and I said, does she do this without makeup? Right?
mm,
And you're like, yeah, I just confirmed that she didn't have makeup throughout the shoot. And I'm like, wow. We started talking about what that meant. um, Megan is a beautiful woman. She's very,
yeah,
I don't want to say pretty. Pretty is a different type of aesthetics. She's beautiful.
Yeah,
She
smash
knows.
the conveyor belt, according to Harry.
Right. um she's stunning. We've seen her on the stage dressed to a T, in her own unique way, right?
Mhm.
Simple, modern, clean, but just that's her style. And we've seen her with makeup, we've seen the hair did, everything, and we all love the outfits. So we know she has that in her. What she chose to present in this magazine is a nuanced contrast to what aesthetics really mean and what beauty means. And if you read the article and what she's talking about topically, you'll
Mm.
understand a little bit why she maybe made a decision to present herself as is. What I really appreciate about this is that Megan is in her 40s. There are a couple of us who are older, younger. I'm around her age, as I've said before. And a lot of times when we start aging and getting older, we start dealing with a lot of the pressures of society, which we start dealing with from like what, early 30s, maybe younger, for keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like the
Mhm.
wrinkles, the crow's feet that come in, our skin not being as plump as youthful as before. Maybe some of us are dealing with weight issues. There's so many different things that come into play. So to actually be presented in this magazine and have so many different snaps of her in these amazing outfits, but very plain faced. As you said before, she's still beautiful. She's very beautiful. And to be able to look like that without makeup, that's a
Yeah.
huge bragging, right?
Yeah.
That's something to stand on. It was intentional. And I think it was her trying to say, you know what? It's okay to be perfect and be put together sometimes and have the hair done and the makeup and and the lashes and everything and the lip, but it's also okay to be you. It's okay to be authentically you in however way you're presenting yourself to society. And I
Yeah.
think that the opposition to that, which is crazy because it goes back to, again, it can't just be the racial thing. What else is it in these people that's broken, that you can't make them happy? She presents herself as very pretty, very beautiful and put together. They have something negative to say. She presents herself as someone that's down to earth without makeup and is just presenting herself authentically as she is, and they still have a problem with it and are criticizing it. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think you've really hit the nail on the head, and also the fact that this isn't the first time that Megan's like chosen to go makeup free. Also, when she did the other interview, I think it was it Jamie something, the lady
Yes.
who
Yeah.
owns the
It
yeah,
cosmetics, right? Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So I think it's sometimes not everything has to be said with words.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you speak with your actions, and so obviously like Megan is stunning. But I think for, you know, if maybe the average woman sees this and sees somebody in her, you know, position on the front cover of a major fashion magazine, kind of embracing your authentic self, maybe somebody else might see that and feel the confidence to do the same, or it can start that conversation about beauty standards and you know what the insecurities that we feel as women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted to ask you, because you sent me a picture of your as ever bounty.
Oh gosh, yes. Shame. Y'all, I had no
Like,
business. No business, but
yeah,
y'all.
y'all. Lightside had that. Like, Lightside has like she stocked up for World War III. Like, she's
I
good.
did.
But how
God.
is everything? Like, I know that the candles. A lot of people have been saying that it has like the perfect burn. Like, it's not too overbearing. It's, you know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
have you tried the candles?
I have not tried the candles yet. Like, can I tell you something? Like, I enjoy like the details and the design of a lot of the stuff that I got. I
Mhm.
have both of the candles and they're both amazing. They smell so good. One of them actually I took out of the box and I have it
Mm.
sitting in my living room, and I can tell you I'll be my if my door is open to my bedroom and I'm in my bedroom sitting down, there are moments when I get like a whiff of it and it's not even lit. I don't know if some of you guys have the candle,
Wow.
and like when you walk by after you pass it, I can smell like the Christmas tree smell. Like it smells like Christmas. I
Oh.
think it's the 519 candle. That's the one that has that more holiday scent. The other one is a softer, semi floral, kind of like amber musk kind of like scent, more kind of like subtle
Oh.
sultry-ish. But no, I haven't burnt it yet. I'm gonna probably do a burn closer nearer to the Christmas season because I like doing that stuff
Mm,
around that time. But no, I have
nice.
not yet. But everything is very well put together. The containers, the candle containers are beautiful. They really are. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger than
Mm,
what we had, but actually the size is fine. Yeah.
nice. Okay, that's good to know. Well, do update us when you actually
I
get
will.
to burn it. But all the reviews that I've heard, just absolutely glowing. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to move on to quickly, we won't spend too much time on this, but Fergie. Fergie is apparently possibly shopping around a tell-all TV interview. And this is apparently she's shopping around US outlets. Now, the US outlets don't play around. I think that if she wants a decent six-figure sum from these people, then she will have to give them some deets. But she also has a lot of guilt to carry herself. I mean, she was very much in um the pockets, the social circle of Epstein. So I don't see how she could do this and not be out herself. She would have to be very selective about what she says about herself, because she still very much, I think, carries a lot of guilt. Also, if she does take money from any type of outlet, is she going to be able to handle that money properly? Because we've just seen over the years that this lady cannot handle money very well. She clearly can't. So I I think that Fergie is in a very desperate spot. If this is true, and again, this isn't like confirmed, but if this is true, what this tells me is that perhaps in whatever deal was made with Andrew, she wasn't really given anything as part of that deal. And she's now running around very desperately trying to find money, trying to find whatever scraps that she can, so that she doesn't get left out in the cold. But she I consider Fergie as somebody that's very much, guilty in all of this. There was a time when I felt that maybe she had some backbone. She did talk about royal life and how it isn't a fairy tale, that famous interview that she did with Oprah. But I think it's just been downhill for her ever since. And so if she is going to do an interview, I hope, girl, make sure that seatbelt is on and double locked every time you get in the car. You better watch your back, because what would she be willing to say, and what would she be willing to put out there in order to get that six-figure sum? Like I said, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned something about her funds and that it's possible that she may not have gotten a piece of whatever cut her husband. Are they still married?
No, they're
Or are they
divorced.
separated? Right. They just
Yeah,
kind of still kind of show up in family
yeah,
functions still, right?
yeah.
That confuses me still, you guys. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
and she still uses her Duchess title as well.
Right, exactly. I think that's why I'm so confused because I was like, I thought they were separated, but the appearance is that unit still. Yeah, it doesn't sound like she has any money, which is a little bit surprising for me. And I'm wondering, like, how has she been surviving this entire time? And like, at what point during the time that she was with Andrew would she have been able to have had something where you could potentially have put to the side or saved up? Or I don't know how it works. Are they even allowed as royals to have their own stuff put to the side, or is it all managed under one kind of structure?
No, I mean, I think she's been getting money over the years. She probably got money in her divorce. Apparently, she was given a home that she sold. She was also getting money from Epstein. Though there's, I don't know if you saw that podcast that I did,
I
but there
did.
was messages.
Hmm.
Yeah, the messages that came out where she's asking him for money. I think that she has also been getting money from other nefarious, shady figures. Her daughters are also very much deep in the pockets of people from, like Qatar, Saudi, the UAE. They're very much aligned with figures from that region. So I think that they have been getting money from different places. They're just absolutely terrible with the money that they get, and it's never
Hmm.
enough. And when
Yeah,
you have a broke mindset, somebody can give you $1 billion, you'll still go broke.
that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. But yeah, in regards to this asking some for her talking, you are right. She is gonna have to give something up. But the structures of power that are
Mm,
currently afloat, I
yeah.
don't think that she's gonna be able to say what is needed
Too
for it to
much.
be
Yeah.
juicy enough, right? Without
Yeah.
her having to worry about her safety, is what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Because yeah, so I don't know who's gonna offer this. I don't see her as like a heavy hitting like royal as say Harry or Meghan. I think this is
Yeah.
something, a six-figure sum would be something that they could very much drop at a whim to try to get
Yeah.
them interviewed. Fergie, I'm not too sure about
Yeah.
that. So I
Yeah.
don't know where that's going. I don't think she's gonna get that amount. And then the question is like, are we just getting a teaser for hoping that she says something if she does the interview, or is she really gonna offer something up? I don't think she's gonna be able to. They
Mm.
have to. What is that document or that legal bind with keeping the documentation sealed for Andrew for until what, like 88 years from now or something after his death? It was some crazy like timeline that they had. They
Um,
that
oh,
You remember that?
I can't remember anything about Andrew regarding that, to be honest, but I do remember about Prince Philip, like his
Prince
will.
Philip.
Yeah, like
That
his
must have
will
been
is
it.
shut. Yeah, his will
Yes.
is like shut for like 99 years or something.
Right, which is crazy. Very
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, I feel like there's stuff that could potentially she knows stuff from the royal family, but she can't say too much at all. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like what I'm gonna say on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Kennedy, you said, and I don't know what outlet in the US is going to pay her because most of them do not pay for interviews. I'm sure that somebody will be willing to pay her something if she has something explosive that they know they're going to get, a lot of traction, a lot of views. Somebody, I'm sure somebody, maybe even not from the US, but somebody will be willing to pay her something.
Well, here's a
Um,
question for you, Anne. I have a question. In lieu of the stuff that's coming out or here in the United States right now, do you think that she would offer anything up about her ex-husband?
I wouldn't put it past her, to be honest. If she's desperate for money,
Mhm.
yeah, well, I wouldn't put it past her at all.
Hmm.
It's not like there's anything else she can do. What can she do at this point? Her whole life, she's just been kept afloat by her royal title, her royal name, and I think her being able to use that gravy train is coming to an end. So no, I wouldn't put it past her. Um, Thank you so much, Super Lottie, for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Legs, you said whoever leaked the email sunk Fergie. Was it Charles? Was it William and Kate? Who knows? Um, Mishi said, I still cannot believe after all this time, Fergie has nothing to show for all the access. Yeah. I mean, um, as dirty as all of the money that she's been given is, she still could have done something decent with it to ensure that she would be financially good for the rest of her days, and she clearly hasn't done that. Spidey, you said there was a video of Jan chilling by her pool holding an empty bottle of Megan's water. Are you serious? If you're actually serious, send that to my email. I didn't see that video. Oh my god. Are you
Wait,
for real?
she said allegedly. I'm trying to say this without laughing. Allegedly, she might have stocked up on the wine.
Oh
I'm
my
pretty sure
goodness.
she did.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past her, to be quite honest.
Right.
I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past her. If she went and like got a whole bunch of it and
God.
then like put it in a box to put in cargo, not enough room in the hand luggage. Shipped it
Lord.
on cargo before she left the US. Jesus. Anywho, okay, next thing that I wanted to move on to, what was the other thing now? Sorry, folks, my slides give me a sec, folks. Slides are giving me some issues. No, that wasn't it. Was it this one? Oh yeah, somebody spotted this William's hands. Now it could be just the cold, but somebody was just wondering like if he might have the same condition as his dad. Like these things they do tend to be hereditary. And it was just like a cold evening in the UK. But yeah, somebody spotted that. I do wonder, like, with the royals, as much as I think that they have like access to some of the best healthcare, it's like when you look at them and you wouldn't think that. It's like they look like they don't really take care of themselves, which is insane with the amount of money that they have. Legs, you said she can't say anything about Harry and Meghan because they weren't really around her. If anything, she will try to redeem herself with the Epstein stuff so that she can make some money. Even if she tried to redeem herself, I don't know how she would make money after that. Like who's hiring her? Who's hiring her and for what? I think that she's reached just the end of the line at this point. Hemi fan, you said there's something about Andrew's past travels that have been sealed. I'm sure there's so much that has been sealed. Fergie will remain quiet to keep her burial plot that the Queen promised her. Oh, she was promised a plot? Well, I mean, presumably if you were married to a royal, isn't that just kind of like an automatic thing that they give you? Otherwise, where are you going to get buried? She will never offer up Andrew. That's her children's father. You never know when people get desperate. And also, the daughters, I don't know what they're doing for money either. So maybe they'll get desperate as well. I mean, there was talk of her moving in with one of the daughters. Now, if she hasn't been able to get anything from a deal from Charles, and it doesn't seem like she's going to be able to live with Andrew, would you put it past her? I wouldn't, because what else is she going to do? I think they're all rather desperate at this point. But in all of this, I'm just so glad that Harry and Meghan escaped the crazy. There was a brilliant article. Where is it now? Yeah, I was actually going to read this out. From JP Canebo on Substack. Definitely go and check them out. They write some great stuff. Some great commentary. She wrote on her WordPress, across social media this week, one sentiment has echoed louder than a royal denial. Thank God Harry and Meghan legged it when they did. As the latest royal family scandal unfolds, this time with fresh allegations from Virginia Giuffre, many are finding a strange sort of comfort in the fact that the Sussexes are thousands of miles away, sipping lattes in Montecito, rather than dodging metaphorical turds lobbed at the palace gates. Because can you imagine if Harry and Meghan were still there with everything that is going on? the way in which they would try to use Harry and Meghan as a shield. I mean, Meghan said herself she was thrown to the wolves. So what would be happening now? And with the kids? You don't even want to think about it. A nightmare. Truly a nightmare. Now it's the other royals that are having to cushion all of this. And the best that they can do to try and use Harry and Meghan as a distraction is complain that the wick on Meghan's candle isn't cut or something. That's the best they have. People are genuinely chuffed that the accomplished Duchess of Sussex, after enduring years of tabloid vitriol and gaslighting, is now utterly disconnected from the Windsor circus. No awkward balcony appearances, no false smiles next to the weird uncle. No need to pretend she's fine when she's clearly not. Just clean air, Californian sunshine, and the knowledge that she got out before the rot became impossible to ignore, and rescued her dashing prince for good measure. And in the last couple of weeks, we've seen even some of the more right-leaning media commentators coming for William, coming for Charles. I mean, William at COP30, I think, has really been a turning point. The Windsor rot is now very much on display. The latest revelations about Prince Andrew still clinging to his grace and favour mansion like a barnacle have reignited public disgust. But while the firm flounders, the Sussexes are thriving. Meghan's schedule may be bonkers according to insiders, but it's hers. She's building something: media ventures, lifestyle brands, advocacy work. None of it relies on inherent privilege or palace PR. The pictures and videos on her Instagram speak to peace and quiet joy. And it's heartening, really, after everything Meghan went through, the racism, the bullying, the mental health struggles. It's a small but meaningful victory that she has no ties to the current royal mess. No questionable friendships to defend, no loyalties to juggle, just a clear-eyed distance from the institution that tried to break her. As the public sees it on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, people are posting variations of the same message. Meghan dodged a bullet. Harry was right to leave. They saw the storm coming and got out before the lightning hit. And the crazy thing is, even when they left, I think there was still a sentiment from Harry and Meghan that they still want to serve the institution, or they still want to serve Her Majesty. They still want to serve the monarch. I think there was still very much that from Harry and Meghan, because Harry is still very much a monarchist. But you can't save people that are just on a path of self-destruction. And, you know, the rot in the crown, it runs deeper than Andrew. It really does. And, you know, Jan was not the only person that's out here being obsessed and crazy. There was this as well. Where is this? This guy. This is another one. Saying that he got the selfie coffee that Meghan got at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Now, I believe this guy actually lives there. To be honest, I haven't read the article, so I don't know if he went to Montecito just to get this cup of coffee. I think he actually lives there. But still, you still went there just to report that you got a coffee that Meghan got. Excuse me? Light side, you came into the chat.
Okay, I read through the Harper's Bazaar article very quickly. I remember this distinct moment. I want to say that the coffee that was brought to Meghan, and I'm making a huge assumption here, was probably curated for her. I don't think she asked for that.
Yeah, she didn't ask for it. That's the thing.
Right.
She didn't ask for it. They just gave it to her.
Exactly, which makes this whole situation even more weird, because not only did you go and get one of yourself to mimic that whole situation, it means you actually stalked the mess out of her. and read every single line that was written about her. Because how else would you know this?
Yeah, yeah. So he had to have read the. So let me just read this. So he does live in LA. He does live in LA. He's a reporter. He writes for the Daily Mail in LA, and he writes in this article. Such caffeinated masterpieces are denied to us lesser mortals by the Polo Lounge. And yet on Friday, for one brief moment, I joined Hollywood's creme de la creme with my own portrait beaming out on top of a cappuccino. But since I am decidedly not the Duchess of Sussex, acquiring that singular honour proved an uphill battle, not for the faint of heart. Ah, yes, Meghan, I remember her, says an immaculately attired, white jacketed Polo Lounge waiter. We have many celebrities dine with us, but Meghan, I remember. She did not ask for her photo to be placed in the cappuccino. We do that for certain special guests, only a few. It's easy to Google her on the computer, download her photo, and in less than a minute, her face is on the coffee. So I think also there's just a sense of jealousy that they don't do this for everyone. They just did it for Meghan
Mm-hmm.
because they really liked her. And him, obsessed as he is, left his house, went to this exact same place, likely having read that article just to get his face on a coffee.
Yeah.
Good Christ.
Peasant energy, all of that. And you know what made it even better? The fact that the waiter is like, ah, yes, I remember her. We don't do that just for anyone. She's one of our special people. that that must have burned them. That must have burned them.
Yeah.
Because again, like, talk about an elevation of admiration and acknowledgement from just the regular people, and you guys never expected her to have that.
Mm,
That's part of the issue, right? It's like they don't want her to have peace, and above not having peace, also not to be acknowledged as anyone important. But here you are in a situation where she's getting all the top shelf stuff, and their
yeah.
response is like a spoiled child that's throwing a tantrum every single time, from complaining about how much a jam costs to I had to fight tooth and nail to get my portrait in the coffee cup on my cappuccino, right? I mean, dear
Oh,
God.
oh, oh, and apparently, because this is important information that we absolutely all needed to know, they even went as far as to finding out how much this specialized printer costs. Apparently, it costs £12,000 to have a specialized printer like this.
Bless their
That is
heart.
that is that
Mm,
that is also in the article.
of course. Yeah, if there is like you said, this whole era needs to be studied. I would guess, if anyone knows anyone that's in going to grad school and needs a dissertation topic, this would be perfect. Lots of materials out there on
Mhm,
the psychosis surrounding all these different people and their obsession with the Duchess of Sussex, because I would love to see
mm,
that research. I don't understand it. I don't. It's because it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, do you not have anything better to do?
mhm. he so I think that he was, from what he wrote in his article, it seems like he was trying to push management for information. um so he says that, I think he's speaking about the manager here, she was concerned that she also mentioned that our privacy policy for our Polo Lounge guests, and if Meghan had not sanctioned her interview for Harper's Bazaar, they typically don't talk about these things. um yeah, he had to talk to the waiters and the baristas to basically get his face on a cup of coffee. I mean, I hope it filled his soul, the fact that he trekked all the way there to this place. I
There,
hope his
there's
soul's feeling just a little bit better.
there's no filling that empty pit, yo. Let's be real. It's a black hole for a lot of these people, and you know what I'm gonna say too. Montecito, and wherever they were, uh, that they were able to get the coffee, like Beverly Hills. Okay, wherever Megan is in California, I imagine that there's a certain level of etiquette, kind of like how celebs are received in New York. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like, you hear a lot of people all the time say they see a lot of movie stars and actors walk around in New York. It's like it's just what they do without their bodyguards or whatever, right? You'll
Hmm.
spot them going to the grocery store, going shopping, whatever. They're dressed down, maybe without makeup, but you see them moving amongst the regular people. I imagine in California, there's a certain level of understanding that you're not going to give up information just like that on people, right? It's almost like an unstated level of respect, or just like, no, we just don't do that. So I don't know what these people think. They're not in the UK anymore, like trying to like pay a tabloid
Yeah,
press to get
yeah,
information and trash
like
people.
absolutely. Like if you were if you were to go to like some of these high end places in the UK, it would be very easy to just like tip off someone and get information, even at the very like top places where they make people sign NDAs. Like they'll just do it through the back door. They'll call the paparazzi, they'll give some details to the tabloids. But it seems like it's so much more difficult to do that in like a community like this. They're a lot more tight-lipped because I think they're a lot more concerned about their reputation and they want their customers to come back. Like, Sadie's still there?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm just processing. I'm sorry. I just like I sorry. Lord have mercy. Yeah, no, you're right. With all of that, I just was thinking when you were talking that oh my gosh, I was thinking like these did they really think that they were going to be able to come here and be able to torture this woman on US soil like they
Yeah.
were hoping to do had Harry and Meghan still be in the UK. That's just I'm really asking that question genuinely because the amount of money they've spent on sending their people over or planting people locally to try to get information from third party quaternary, like the fourth, fifth, sixth removed individuals that have no information on Harry and
Yeah.
Meghan is crazy to me.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
they can't get anything.
he was even asking all of the any waiter that he could find,
Right.
"Are you the one that served Megan her coffee?"
Yes. Did you happen to touch her coattail when she came in? Did you touch it? Was it wool? Was it cotton silk? Like, let me know. Like, it's crazy. Like, we're laughing about this right now, but this is really crazy. It doesn't make any sense. The waiter, the waiter.
Oh my God. Okay, okay.
Stop it. Get some
Yeah,
help.
like literally. Oh my God. Okay, okay. Let me move on. There's a few
Okay.
more things that I want to like touch on. So Harry's apparently going to be at some kind of realtors conference. So he's going to deliver a keynote address at the Ontario Real Estate Association Powerhouse Conference on December 1st, and with some other major players in Canada. It will be Harry's second recent visit to Toronto, following a trip earlier in the month to meet with veterans. Aurea describes the Powerhouse Conference as one of Canada's leading political affair events, bringing together over 450 politically engaged realtors from Ontario. So Rebecca from Duchess of Sussex on Instagram said, for those wondering what Harry's speech is about, the article mentions that the subject of Harry's speech hasn't actually been disclosed yet. She says, I'm curious too, since the event is geared towards realtors, it makes me think that there's something we're not seeing. Harry is set to provide a royal touch at the conference. And it could mean that he's gearing up to launch something new, or maybe he's planning to spotlight Travelist, his sustainable travel initiative. Even though it's travel focused, he could link it through themes like sustainability, community impact, and responsible economic development, all of which overlap with discussions in real estate. Realtors and developers are increasingly interested in sustainability, green building, and eco friendly practices, especially due to being policy bound. like I told someone else speaking at a non-travel conference, lets him broaden the initiative's audience. He might be looking to position Travelist as a model for cross-sector sustainability efforts. This is all speculation, by the way. I'm just brain dumping my thoughts. I mean, it could be linked to Travelist. It could actually be that there's something within the real estate space that he's looking to do, and that would be quite interesting. Lightside, any thoughts on that?
You know what I love most about this is that their whole team and people behind them are so tight-lipped. They have no idea what he's gonna say. Um, so surprised when it happens. But yeah, I think it might have something to do with Travelist. I think what I've seen is that they have stuck with very consistently like their brands. They talk about mental health, they talk about a varied number of things, but they're very specific with the brands that they're associated with. Um,
Yeah.
it could possibly be a new endeavor that he's going into, but I feel like it might be linked to something that he's worked with before. But really quickly, just to finish up the laughs from Mr. Weirdo, one of the squatties in the chat. I can't see you guys' actual names anymore. I think I see the at and like the actual screen names at Ron Anderson. I don't know who that is, but they said what's more disturbing is that he shared that he did that, meaning the reporter from Daily Fail. Yes, no self-awareness for how psychotic of a
That
thing that
looks like,
is. Right.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And it's no, but it's so true. And I'm glad that you said that, because if even if me as a fan went
Mm.
and did that,
Mhm.
that would be effing weird.
It
Like
would.
like like honestly, if any of you squaddies ever showed up to the same place, like just a day or two after you heard that Megan was there, I would say that you were a bit weird. But you have
Yeah.
these people who claim that Harry and Meghan aren't irrelevant, claim that they're not even important, going to every single place that Harry and Meghan have been. It's like the monitoring spirit who's jealous of you and wants to walk in your shoes. It's like they literally want to
Mhm.
be you. And it's like
You know
they're out here smiling for the cameras, smiling for an article
mm,
in the Daily Fail without shame. Like none of this is
no,
absolutely crazy.
it is.
Crazy.
And it's like it's that saying that a lot of people say in social media. They're like, I would have taken that to the grave. There are a lot of things that these people should really have taken to the grave, this being one of them. But apparently the
Yeah.
lack of awareness is just not. It's not there.
No, it's really not there. It actually just makes me appreciate just like how level-headed and sensible our fandom is, that I don't see anybody behaving like this.
Yeah, and they like to paint us as crazy ones. We just know how to
Yeah,
handle people. Right. Yeah. Anyway,
exactly.
on to the
Anywho,
next thing.
on to the next thing, as I usually say. Yeah, the next thing is actually the cost of the royals. There's a fantastic article that came out in, I think this is the Telegraph or the Times. I'm gonna read this out. Let me just find, how much does the British royal family really cost the British public? Let me just look for, sorry folks, I had this open then I closed it. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is in, oh yeah, this was in the Times. The Windsors are by far the most expensive royal family in Europe, with events such as coronations, weddings, and funerals all funded by the UK taxpayer. Die-hard Republican Norman Barker crunches the numbers. Oh, so here we go. In 1760, the British monarchy was effectively bankrupt. Oh, this is news to me. Up to that year, when George III inherited the throne, The monarch had been responsible for meeting the increasing costs of a wide range of public services, including the army and civil service. So a deal was reached whereby responsibility for most of these matters was transferred to Parliament, and to fund those services, the revenues from royal land holdings in what is known as the Crown Estate were surrendered to Parliament, so in effect to the public. Henceforth, a civil list would provide an annual income to the monarch from the public purse to enable royal duties to be carried out. In 1760, this was set at the generous level of 800,000 a year. The system lasted largely unchanged in form until 2011, when the civil list was replaced by the sovereign grant. This retrograde step gave the monarch a financial stake in fortunes of the Crown Estate for the first time since 1760, tying the level of support for the royals to the unconnected fortunes of what is in effect a premium property company owning large parts of London, such as Regent Street. There was no more logical justification than benchmarking their income against profits at Tesco's. Just to be on the safe side, however, the palace negotiated a safety net. The sovereign grant continues the dubious practice of the civil list in that the sum paid each year under the sovereign grant can only stay the same or go up, never down. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why, despite the fact that we keep hearing about a so-called slimmed down monarchy, the costs keep going up. Moreover, in the unlikely event that the Crown Estate's profits fall, the government will make up the difference, therefore immunizing the royals against any slump in income. Can I also just say, before I continue, I've heard so many explanations about the sovereign grant, the Crown Estate, the duchy. I still do not have any clarity or true solid understanding of royal money. And I'm not going to act like I can give you and any of you listening any understanding of it either, because I don't have any understanding of it. I've heard 100 different versions, so many different figures that get thrown around, and even the figures that I'm looking at in this article and what this person is saying, I don't even think are true, because I don't feel that there's any real transparency about royal money. So the civil list provided 7.9 million in support in its last year, 2011, plus a sum to cover transport costs. In 2025, the sovereign grant that replaced it will generate 132 million for the royals. That is a compound annual growth of 22.29%. Even if you add all the extra costs in transport and otherwise that were met outside the civil list in 2011, that still generates an annual compound growth rate of more than 10%. A bankrupt royal of 1760 has become fantastically wealthy, with King Charles alone having reportedly amassed a fortune of at least 1.8 billion. But apparently we didn't have money for Harry and Meghan, and Charles still has to go to Qatar and get cash money bags and bring cash money bags back to the UK. Math isn't mathing. Fewer working royals, spiraling costs. There is a legitimate argument for a monarchy, is there? Just as there is for a republic. What there can be no argument for is the unreformed imperial monarchy we uniquely still have, and its enormous and ever-increasing costs to the British taxpayers. Charles made it known before he mounted the throne that he wanted a slimmed-down monarchy, a view that was broadly welcomed by almost everyone. If we now have 11 working royals, that is indeed a noticeable reduction compared with, say, 10 years earlier. However, that has been achieved more through the effects of external circumstances than by design. The Queen and Prince Philip have died. Harry and Meghan have excused themselves, and Andrew has had to be cast into outer darkness. But his lifestyle is still going to be funded anyway, whether he's a working royal or not. Yet the cost to the public of the monarchy has not reduced in line with this decrease. On the contrary, despite having fewer working royals, The bill for the taxpayer has ballooned along with the wealth of the royals. Buckingham Palace regularly trots out the line that our royal family annually costs each of us the price of a cup of instant coffee or some such. The fact is that Britain's monarchy is vastly more expensive than other European monarchies. Official figures across Europe allow us to compare the relative annual cost of the continent's monarchies in terms of direct support from governments. The headline figures give us Britain over 130 million, Netherlands just over 40 million, Norway over 20 million, Belgium just over 12 million, Sweden just over 11 million, Denmark just over 10 million, and Spain just over 7 million. And mind you, Spain's last king, I think he got exiled because of corruption and he's living in Saudi. The UK figure of 130 million itself is a rise of an incredible 53% from the previous year and light years away from the 7 million of the civil list. Taking into consideration the sundry terms in 2011 that were not covered by the civil list, means that the expenditure in that year was still only in the region of 31 million. So it has more than quadrupled in the 15 years since. It is difficult to establish exact comparisons as each monarchy accounts for expenditure in different ways. In the Netherlands, for example, the cost of the upkeep of the palaces and the cost of state visits are not included, which therefore underestimates to a degree the real costs. Similarly, in Spain, many costs related to the monarchy are covered directly by government departments. In some countries, the monarch pays tax, and in others, they do not. The Dutch Parliament voted in 2024 to impose a tax of around 49% to the previously untaxed king. So, so in Denmark, they said, we're going to tax you, and we're going to tax you good. They would never do that to the British monarchy. The Spanish and Sweden monarchies in particular are even less transparent than their British counterparts about money. So it's possible that the figures quoted are significant underestimates. Yet it would be unwise for any supporter of the British monarchy to draw comfort from such caveats. The reality is that there appears to be far more hidden costs relating to the British monarchy than to any other. And also, the difference between the British monarchy and all of these other monarchies is how closely tied the British monarchy is to Parliament and the law of the land. That's another major difference. The 132 million is merely the tip of the very large royal iceberg. Many of these hidden costs to the taxpayer relate to the controversial treatment of the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster and other unique wheezes such as the exemption from inheritance tax on private property handed down from monarch to monarch, and the bloated bill for security, which is thought to cost between 150 million and 200 million annually. The anti-monarchy group Republic produced a detailed report in 2024 that estimated that, all things considered, the annual cost of the public purse of supporting the royals is now in excess of 500,000 million a year. And you still cannot tell me where that money is going and how it's being spent. Now, it goes on to list all of the expenditures, which I won't read out in detail, but stuff like cost of councils, royal collection, net surplus, security, cost by government departments, and other things that Republic claimed went towards that $500 million. And that doesn't even include the money that we spend every time someone dies or gets married. Whatever the sum, is undoubtedly much higher than any other European monarchy. There are a number of factors that have led to this unhappy position. A dying concept. One is the historical context in which the British monarchy have existed, and which means today, while other monarchs have evolved and modernized, ours has not. It's true. Even with all the money that the other royals spend, and even if they're not entirely transparent, they have still modernized a lot more than the British royals. And I think that they are actively trying, as you know, that the younger royals now come up, they are actively trying to get them to be more independent. The concept of monarchy has been dying since the French Revolution in 1789, but even so, change was slow. It goes on a little bit more into different histories of the different monarchy, which I won't read too much into. It's possible to piece together the elements of public money reaching the British royals, whether directly through grants or indirectly through unique tax breaks. We cannot, however, estimate with any certainty their substantial income from private investments. Yeah, this is another thing. I mean, all of this money that we're talking about is from the public purse, from the duchies, land ownership, but they have financial advisors that would take any money that they have and double that, triple that, quadruple that through other investments or hide it in tax havens. So this is why I don't understand why Charles is still running around with cash money bags from Qatar, or why he's still taking money from the Bin Laden family when his son did 2 active tours of Afghanistan. Okay, the article is quite long and it goes on and on and on and on, but I think you pretty much, get the gist of it. I will post, a link if you want to read the whole thing. They also go on to talk about, why we still have large coronations. Yeah, light side. Did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I was just thinking 500 million pounds, right? You're not, we're not
Half a
talking about
billion.
US. For what? 500. Oh my God.
So that Kate can tell us
No.
that it's autumn.
God.
We're spending
No, but
500 million pounds so that Kate can tell us 1 month late that it's autumn.
has she even popped up on the scene of late?
Yeah, she was at the Royal Variety Show a couple of nights ago with William.
Okay, so so here's the thing, right? I'm not even gonna beat this over the head because we've talked about this before multiple times. You're costing the UK this much money, and as you pointed out, this is not even including the private funds that are coming through that aren't being tallied into this large sum of money that they're getting. And they've
Yeah.
also quote unquote shrunken the monarch, like the royals, right? Like as far as like working royals or whatever they want to call themselves. They've slimmed down monarchy is what they're calling it. The diet monarchy.
The Ozempic
So,
monarchy.
right. So while they're doing all of that, you'd think, oh, less bodies, less expenses. But then you also have like people building extra cottages here and there and renovating and stuff at the same time. And I'm just kind of like,
Mm,
it's just not, the math isn't mathing again. I don't understand what is happening. I think we've talked about this and like trying to understand at what point the people are just going to get completely fed up and be like, no, but I think it's one of those things where it's been so institutionalized that
yeah.
it almost their existence, regardless of how much, and I think they know this too, their existence, no matter how crazy it is, the amount of money that's being funneled to them for them not doing anything. Because I really want to explain people to explain to me what exactly they do for not doing absolutely anything and just being tokens and playing dress up in costumes, that they're getting this much money from the taxpayers. That is a foundation of an identity that is part of the culture, I think. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes that's hard to
Yeah.
break away from.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
that's really what I think they're riding on, to be honest with you.
Yes,
Not,
they know.
and sorry, not to interrupt you. I do want you to continue, but I just wanted to jump on the back of that and say, I remember the day after the Queen died, and I went down to Buckingham Palace and Green Park, to kind of like survey the area, and I'll never forget. I saw somebody left a bag that belonged to their grandmother, and they had a picture of their grandchild, and there was a note that said, and this was written to the Queen, "Thank you, mum, for everything that you've done." And so I think you're so right. It's like it's so embedded in people's psyche, in the culture. And that bag that probably that had so much sentimental value, that belonged to that person's grandmother, all of that stuff probably got like thrown in the trash afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened because it doesn't mean anything to them. It's just another fan. They say how much they love them and whatever they say to them when they meet them. It doesn't, the meaning behind showing up in front of these people goes back to the lack of just connection that they are missing, right? And to go back a little bit when you're reading that article, and the how you explained how other monarchies in different countries have slowly transitioned into modern day like royals. um, and we talked about how stuck this monarch appears, that they seem to be at a standstill as far as like transitioning effectively into a modern day monarchy, a more relevant monarchy. They're not moving with the times and it's hurting them. And I think the reason why also that has failed is because they don't have the manpower, the tools, or the resources to effectively do that. They had it at one point. There was a possibility of having that when Harry and Meghan were there, but they've lost that wild card. They've lost it, and so now you have a bunch of people being led by the blind that do not know, that not only are they out of touch and stuck in their bubble, they don't know how to effectively transition into the next new age era and what they need to do. um because we're seeing it over and over again when they show up in public, like the lack of apathy as far as like just even caring for who they are is very present in people that are even in close vicinity of them. I think you showed a picture at one point that William came out of a building and folks are just like, hurry up so I can just get on my way, you're blocking my sidewalk, right? That literally that's the type of energy I'm seeing. And so I
Yeah.
think that in general, like, they are the destruction or the downfall of this era, this current group of individuals that are sitting in that royal house right now. Their downfall is going to be their inability and ineptness of not being able to transition into the next era, and that's going to be that
Yeah.
that is crucial for their survival at this point, and they are
Mm,
completely failing at that.
yeah. Yeah, because I think they're stuck between a rock and a wall with spikes coming out of it, where they have to appeal to a new generation who see them as an old relic, but then the older generation that actually want them to be and embody that traditional old relic don't want to see them be more modern. So what do they do? And this is where I think that Harry and Meghan don't have an issue, because they very solidly want to be in line with the times, and they couldn't care less whether or not they get criticized for that. So Harry is very comfortable talking about the fact that, I think it was the Dutch royal family, paying, some kind of like large fund to former colonies, or that we need to have difficult conversations about the past. And even in the Harry and Meghan documentary, they spoke about, the effects of colonialism and things that the other royals would just never, never touch upon. And if they did, it would be in a very controlled, kind of surface level way. So I think Harry and Meghan have just, they know who they are, and they know who their audience is, they know who they want to be. But I think the leftover royals, they don't really know who to be or what to be in this current era.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that I think it just comes off as more authentic with Harry and Meghan, and I think people pick up on that. I think that's where part of the disconnect is that you have individuals that, like you said, are okay with talking about the uncomfortable things, and when you're able to do that, it just makes you seem more present and more connected.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the other lot doesn't want to acknowledge anything whatsoever pertaining to any of that stuff, and so they have a barrier that's always up and around them whenever
Yeah.
they're in the public. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you to Melonia Marston for the PayPal. Thank you to oh gosh, let me go through. Legs, thank you so much for that. I didn't see that earlier. Many actors, singers, models, workers, waiters, they might understand what it's like to have people seek your personal information, of course. Thank you also to Kat Harlem for being a member for 14 months. Thank you so much, Kat Harlem. Tall Tree, you said sponging off the working class while they don't pay taxes. Zapi, you said there is not a lack of working royals. The ones that are there need to do something 3 to 4 days a week. The Spanish king has meetings every weekday. Yeah. TV, you said that the emerald tiara looks awful on Camilla. Well, this is the one that I think Eugenie, one of them, wore at their wedding. Apparently, this is also the tiara that caused all the hoopla with the Queen's former panty picker. I forget her name. When they were getting ready for Meghan's wedding. It seems like Camilla's got a new wiglet. These pictures are actually from the other night. Apparently, there was some kind of diplomatic reception. Interestingly, Kate was not at this diplomatic reception. I think this is also the second year in a row she has missed this. I don't know if what reason she had to miss this. It was only a few miles away. She's at Forest Lodge. Was she just too lazy or too tired from her big business task force? Or maybe Charles, as Kaiser theorizes here, Charles and Camilla and William didn't want Kate's diplomatic jazz hands to steal the thunder. Because you know what? If Kate had showed up in a dress, she would be on the front cover of all of the newspapers. Now, granted, none of this made the front cover of the news. I didn't even know that this had happened. I wouldn't have known that this had happened if I hadn't looked at Celeb Bitchy. But yeah, they had this diplomatic reception, and Camilla was indeed wearing the emerald tiara. TV seems like she's got a new wiglet as well. Oh yes, Angela Kelly. So I forget her name. Angela Kelly. Girljoy, isn't Victor safe in the UK? I don't know. Do you know what? At this point, do you know what? Invictus is just going to have to happen in the UK, and I'll just be here to report on whatever happens with Invictus in the UK. I'll just be here to report on whatever happens with Invictus in the UK. Because we now have, there's another report coming in about Doreen Lawrence, who's the mother of Stephen Lawrence. My apologies, I don't even know if I've got it on my slides. But I wanted to read, I think this is the last article that I had to read out. Doreen Lawrence, who's the mother of the murdered schoolboy Stephen Lawrence. Now, she's part of a wider court case with Harry, the Daily File, the tabloids, all of the phone hacking and stuff that they were doing. So this is all part of that larger court case that is coming to trial in the new year. And it just shows you just how untrustworthy even the authorities are. And it's why I do not trust that Harry and Meghan would ever be safe, even if they're given security. I'm glad Harry is taking it all the way and trying to get to the bottom of who didn't want him to have security. I'm glad that this ultimately exposes the institution, but I don't think Harry would ever be safe. So, Spy Cops inquiry. Doreen Lawrence says she does not believe ex-Home Secretary. Stephen Lawrence's mother tells inquiry. She did not believe Michael Howard when he told her he did not know police had spied on her family. The mother of the murdered teenager Stephen Lawrence has told a public inquiry that she does not believe claims by the former Home Secretary Michael Howard that he did not know police officers had spied on her. Doreen Lawrence told the Spy Cops inquiry on Thursday that Lord Howard, a former leader of the Conservative Party, invited her to a meeting shortly after the inquiry was set up in 2014. The inquiry was commissioned after revelations that undercover officers had monitored the Lawrences' campaign in the 1990s to persuade police to properly investigate Stephen's murder by an RS gang. Howard was the Home Secretary at the time. And also remember, some of the details about this case came to the forefront when Harry was looking into his own affairs about the media spying on him. And Harry also gave some of the information that he found out to Ms. Lawrence. Lady Lawrence said that in the meeting, Howard was quite keen to express that he knew nothing about the undercover police that was happening around her family. That was his agenda. She was asked by her barrister, did you accept at face value that he was saying, so what he was saying to you, that he knew nothing about it? She replied, no, adding, I didn't believe anything that he was saying. She suggested he would have known because the commissioner of the Metropolitan Police reports to the Home Secretary. The inquiry has previously heard that surveillance reports compiled by an undercover officer about the Lawrence's campaign were sent directly to Paul Colden, the Met Commissioner, who congratulated the officer on his excellent work. Earlier, Lawrence told the public inquiry she found it deeply painful to discover how police had deployed the undercover officers. She said that the police's priorities were completely misplaced, as they should have been concentrating on bringing the racist murderers of her son to justice. She called the covert surveillance disrespectful and dehumanizing. Stephen was a very innocent young man. Our family did nothing wrong. The statement described how the surveillance took place while she struggled to cope with Stephen's murder, care for her other children, and earn a living. All while I neglected my own well-being, I was simply surviving. So anyway, I'm not going to read the whole article, but I just wanted to bring this to the forefront just to show that I don't think there's anyone in the UK authorities, security services, any of the establishment that Harry can trust with his safety, and that Harry can trust with his family's safety. Because what do you mean you were spying on a grieving mother who was simply trying to find justice for her son? And I don't think that the system has changed wholly even since then. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about this as the class action lawsuit with Miss Lawrence, Harry, Elton John, Liz Hurley, other people come forward in the new year. Okay. Like so, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Go for it.
Just one thing more about one thing else that I have. When is the case coming up? I remember like several months ago when we were talking about it. Like, oh my gosh, it seemed like it's so
like
far
January.
away.
No, January, February.
January, February. We're already there. It's gonna be here in no time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all I have.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to just read some of your comments and then we will call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone. So thank you to Lightside. Thank you to all of you in the comment section. I love it when we have these much longer chats. It's not often that I do a podcast that goes on for like 2 hours. I try to keep it like within that hour mark, but I just felt like there were so many interesting things to talk about today. Yeah, I think that Camilla did not want Kate wearing a tiara or a dress. That's one thing Kate has always been good for. A tiara, a dress, and an easy headline and a front cover page. And I don't know if Camilla thought that she would get the headline, but in the end, nobody got a headline. I didn't even know this had happened until I looked at Celeb Bitchy. A lady, you said Invictus is not safe in the UK. There are too many OBEs and MBEs on the board of the Invictus Games. Harry has got to clean house. I 100% agree. I'm sorry, but especially after the whole Sophie Chanduka thing, and we haven't even heard the end of that. Let's wait and see what they have to say for themselves on the next financial report. Nobody is safe at this point. I'm sorry. No offense to anybody who's an MBE or an OBE who, is generally a good person and wouldn't stab Harry and Meghan in the back. But at this point, I just think better safe than sorry. Not all MBEs and OBEs, but always one of them. Always one of them causing trouble, causing a ruckus, pulling some Sophie Chanduka nonsense. Let's see. Said P, you said they are too busy upholding the class system and the rest of the world is busy adopting to new technology and a faster pace of life. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. You know, Charles isn't too well. William is going to be the next king. Where we are now and thinking about that upcoming transition, well, time is going to give us a lot to talk about, is all I'm going to say. And with that, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all so much. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, please. Make sure to share the videos. The algorithm isn't always our best friend. So I do appreciate if you also share videos around, share the channel, especially things like the shorts. I think those are always like good to share because not everybody's going to want to watch like a whole live. And if you do like the short form content, make sure you go to Duchess of Success Daily on the TikTok. I'm going to be a lot more active on TikTok now. I'm really trying to grow the TikTok. And yeah, as always, appreciate you all. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao, everyone.